My name doesn't matter yet. What matters is this. One day, I opened my family's photo wall, the one in the hallway of the house I grew up in, and I was gone. Not one picture. Not two. Every single photo of me gone. In their place were new frames. New smiles. A new perfect family that did not include me. My stepmother did that. Quietly. Over years. Piece by piece, she tried to erase me from my own family, like I was a stain she was finally wiping off the wall. But here is the thing about people who try to erase someone. They forget one important detail. You cannot erase a person who still has proof that they exist. And that mistake, that one mistake she made, is the reason you are watching this video today. Because what happened next didn't just bring me back into the family picture. It knocked her right out of it. Stay with me, because this story is long, it is emotional, and by the end, you will understand exactly why they say karma doesn't miss. If you love real family drama stories like this one, make sure you subscribe because there is a lot more coming. But first, let me take you back to where it all started. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, in a regular house with regular parents, and what I thought was a regular happy life. My mom's name was Diane. My dad's name was Robert. And for the first 10 years of my life, we were just an ordinary family. Nothing special, nothing dramatic, just love, dinner at 6, and Saturday morning cartoons. Then, when I was 11 years old, my mother got sick. It happened fast. One year she was fine, driving me to soccer practice and burning cookies in the oven. And the next year, she was gone. Breast cancer. I don't need to explain what that does to an 11-year-old girl, or to a husband who loved his wife for 15 years. It broke both of us. For almost 2 years after that, it was just me and my dad. We were a small, quiet, broken little team. He tried his best. He learned how to braid my hair from YouTube videos. He burned dinner almost every night, but he never once let me feel like I was alone. Then when I was 13, he met Karen. At first, I liked her. She was friendly. She brought me small gifts. She asked about my day. My dad seemed happy again, and after everything we'd been through, I wanted him to be happy. I told myself, maybe this is good. Maybe we need this. They got married when I was 14. Karen moved into our house with her own 2 kids, a boy named Tyler, who was 12, and a girl named Madison, who was 10. And that is where the story really begins. Because the woman who smiled at me during the wedding, the woman who hugged me in front of everyone and said, "I always wanted a daughter like you," she was not the same woman I would come to know over the next 4 years. Slowly, so slowly that I almost didn't notice it happening, Karen began building a family. But it wasn't our family. It was her family. And I was not invited. Looking back now, I can see the pattern clearly. But when you're a teenager living inside it, you don't see a pattern. You just feel confused and hurt, and like maybe it's your fault. It started small. Really small. Karen began making new house rules. Rules that somehow only applied to me. Tyler and Madison could leave their shoes by the door. If I did it, I was being disrespectful of shared space. Madison could invite friends over any weekend she wanted. When I asked to have my best friend Grace over, Karen said the house was too full already. Then came the family dinners. Karen started cooking meals that Tyler and Madison loved. Foods I couldn't eat because of a dairy allergy she absolutely knew about, since I had told her the very first month she moved in. When I mentioned it, she'd just smile and say, "Oh, I forgot, sweetie. Next time." Next time never came. Little by little, I stopped being part of the we in that house. It became Karen, Tyler, Madison, and Dad, and then somewhere off to the side me. But the real damage, the deep damage, happened in the quiet, invisible ways. Karen started controlling the story my father heard. If I was quiet after a hard day at school, she'd tell my dad I was being difficult again. If I cried because I missed my mom, she'd tell him I was still not adjusting, and maybe needed a therapist to work through my issues. As if grieving your mother at 14 was a personality flaw. My dad worked long hours as a construction manager. He came home tired. And Karen made sure that by the time he walked through that door, the story of the day was already written. And I was always the difficult one in it. I want you to understand something important here. This wasn't loud. This wasn't yelling and slamming doors. If it had been, My dad might have noticed sooner. This was quiet. This was calculated. This was a slow erasing, done so carefully that even I doubted my own feelings for years. That is how narcissistic control often works in blended families. It is not one big explosion. It is 1,000 tiny cuts, so small that by the time you notice you're bleeding, you've already lost a lot. By the time I was 16, the small cuts became something bigger. The photo wall. Our hallway had always been covered with family pictures. Me as a baby, me and my mom at the beach, me and my dad fishing. After Karen moved in, new pictures went up. Slowly, the old ones came down to make room. One by one, my baby pictures disappeared into a box in the attic. My photos with my mom vanished first. Then eventually, almost every photo of me became rare, replaced by professional family portraits that Karen had taken. Portraits where I was somehow always busy at practice or not available, so the photographer just didn't include me. By the time I was 17, our hallway had 11 framed photos. I was in exactly one of them, off to the side, half cut off by the frame. The holidays. Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, Karen would plan elaborate family trips. Somehow, the dates always conflicted with something I had going on, but she never asked me first. She'd book the trip, tell my dad it was already paid for, and then act shocked when I said I couldn't reschedule my part-time job or my school project. One year they went to Disney World for Christmas. I stayed home with my grandmother. Karen said it was just how the dates worked out. It happened 3 years in a row. The school events. My senior year, I made honor roll every single semester. I was also the co-captain of the school's debate team, and we went to the state finals. Karen went to every single one of Tyler's baseball games and Madison's dance recitals. She did not come to one debate competition. Not one. When I made state finals, my dad wanted to go, but Karen had already planned a family camping trip for that exact weekend. A trip she scheduled 2 weeks after finding out my competition date. My dad, torn between his wife and his daughter, chose not to disappoint Karen. I stood on that stage without a single member of my family in the audience, while my coach cheered from the front row instead. The money. When I turned 17, I found out, completely by accident, that my mother had left me a small college fund before she passed away. About $22,000. It was supposed to go into an account for me when I turned 18. I only found out about it because I overheard Karen on the phone with a financial advisor, saying the words, "We could really use that for the family's needs right now." I didn't understand what that meant yet, but I would very soon. The final blow, the will. A few months before my 18th birthday, I was helping my dad clean out the garage, one of the rare moments we still had alone together, and I found an old folder of paperwork. Inside it was a new version of my father's will. Karen had asked him to update it for the whole family's protection, she said. In this new version, the house, the savings, and my father's life insurance were divided between Karen, Tyler, and Madison. My name was not on it. Not $1. Not one line. Erased. I sat in that garage and I cried harder than I had cried since my mother died. Not because of the money, because of what it meant. My own father, without fully realizing it, had signed a document that officially, legally, erased me from his family. That night, I didn't say anything. I just watched, and I started paying very, very close attention. Here's something I learned that year. When someone is trying to erase you, the best thing you can do is stop reacting and start documenting. I started small. I began saving text messages where Karen would say things like, "This isn't really your home the way it's ours," or, "You'll understand when you're an adult and out on your own." I began keeping a private journal. Dates, times, exact words. I wasn't planning revenge. I was just trying to hold on to the truth, because I was starting to feel like I was going crazy, like maybe I really was the problem. Then one afternoon in March, everything changed. I came home early from school because of a dentist appointment that got moved up. Karen didn't know I was home. I heard her in the kitchen, on the phone with her sister, and I froze in the hallway when I heard my name. She was laughing. She said, and I remember this word for word because I will never forget it. "Once she turns 18 and moves out for college, that's it. She's an adult. She's not our responsibility anymore. And honestly, it'll finally just be our family. Robert will get used to it. He already barely brings her up. My own father barely brought me up. My stepmother was counting down the days until I would legally disappear from the family, like a subscription she was waiting to cancel. I didn't confront her that day. I was shaking too hard. Instead, I went to my room, and for the first time, I let myself fully accept what was happening. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't me being too sensitive, like Karen always said. This was real. It had a name. It was called being erased. That night, I made a decision. If Karen wanted to write me out of the family quietly, I was going to bring everything back into the light, loudly, clearly, and with proof. Over the next 2 months, I built my case like it was my job. I found the box in the attic with all my old photos and quietly took pictures of them with my phone, dated and safe in a cloud folder. I saved copies of the new will paperwork. I found old bank documents referencing my mother's college fund and realized that Karen had, in fact, moved part of it into a joint family expenses account 8 months earlier, without my father's full knowledge, because he trusted her to handle the finances. I talked to my grandmother, my mother's mom, who still lived 20 minutes away and who had noticed the distance too, but didn't know how deep it went. She was the one who told me something that changed everything. Your mother set that account up with a legal document, sweetheart. Karen cannot just move that money. That fund was protected. That was the mistake. Karen's big mistake. In trying to erase me completely, my photos, my place at the table, my inheritance, she had touched something she legally was never supposed to touch. A protected trust fund set up by my late mother, with my grandmother listed as a secondary trustee. She thought no one was paying attention. She was wrong. I turned 18 on a Tuesday in May. I didn't tell anyone what I knew yet. I wanted my father to hear the truth all at once, with proof in front of him, so there would be no room for Karen to twist the story the way she always did. I asked my grandmother to come over that weekend. I asked my dad if we could all sit down together, Karen included, because I had something important to share before I left for college in the fall. Karen smiled when I said that. She probably thought I was going to thank her, or say some emotional goodbye speech. She had no idea what was coming. We sat in the living room. The one with the new photo wall, the one with 11 pictures and only a sliver of me in one of them. I placed a folder on the coffee table. I started calmly. I said, I want to talk about the last 4 years. Then I opened the folder. I showed my dad the photos of the boxed-up pictures in the attic, next to pictures of the new wall that replaced them. I watched his face change. I showed him screenshots of text messages from Karen. The comments about how this isn't really your home, and worse ones I hadn't even mentioned yet. Things she'd said over the years that I had simply saved instead of arguing about. Karen tried to interrupt, tried to say I was twisting things, but my grandmother, sitting right there, calmly said, Karen, I think you should let her finish. Then I brought out the will paperwork. My father actually didn't recognize the final version. Karen had told him it was just an update to protect the family, and he had signed it during a busy week without reading every line carefully, trusting his wife the way a husband should be able to trust his wife. When he saw his daughter's name was completely removed from the house, the savings, and the life insurance, his face went pale. And then came the moment that changed everything. My grandmother pulled out her own folder. She explained calmly and clearly that my late mother had set up a protected educational trust for me years before she passed, with specific legal protections that meant it could not be touched, moved, or spent by anyone except for my education, and that she, my grandmother, was legally listed as a secondary trustee specifically to prevent exactly what had happened. Karen had moved roughly $9,000 from that protected trust into a joint household account 8 months earlier. That wasn't just a cruel choice anymore. That was illegal. My father sat there in silence for what felt like an entire minute. Then he looked at Karen and asked one question. Is this true? Karen tried to explain it away. She said it was temporary, that she was going to put it back, that it was for family expenses that benefited everyone, including eventually me. But the numbers didn't lie, and neither did the 4 years of quiet erasing that came before it. My father, the man who had spent 2 years learning to braid hair from YouTube videos, who had promised my dying mother he would always take care of me, He finally saw it. All of it. Not just the money. The photos. The holidays. The empty seat at my debate competition. Years of me being pushed quietly to the edges of my own family, while he was too tired, too trusting, and too distracted to notice. What happened over the following weeks was not some dramatic movie scene. It was slow, painful, and very real. The way things actually happen in real families. My father contacted a family attorney the very next week. The new will was immediately revoked and rewritten. This time with me included fairly, alongside Tyler and Madison, because despite everything, my father wanted to raise all three of us fairly, and I never asked to punish two kids for their mother's choices. My grandmother, as trustee, formally reported the misuse of the educational trust. Karen was required to repay every dollar she had moved, with the trust's protections tightened, so it could never happen again. There were serious, uncomfortable conversations about legal consequences, and while my father chose not to pursue criminal charges, because of Tyler and Madison, because he didn't want to destroy their mother in front of them, the financial and legal accountability was very real and very documented. My relationship with Karen never recovered, and honestly, I didn't want it to. But something else happened that I didn't expect. My relationship with my father was rebuilt, piece by piece, the same slow way it had been torn down. He started showing up. He drove 4 hours to visit me during my first semester of college, just to take me to lunch. He asked me questions about my life, real questions, not the surface-level ones he used to ask when Karen was steering every conversation. He apologized, more than once, in a way that felt real. Not perfect. Not enough to erase 4 hard years. But real. The photo wall changed too. My father, on his own without me asking, reprinted the old photos from the attic and hung them back up. My baby pictures, the beach photos with my mom, all of it, right alongside newer photos that finally, actually included me. Karen and my father are still married today. I won't pretend this story ends with some perfect, magical family reunion, because real life isn't like that. But I will tell you this. I am no longer invisible in my own family. My name is on the will. My photos are on the wall. My seat at the table is permanent, not conditional. And every single time Karen looks at that photo wall now, she sees exactly what she tried so hard to erase. Looking back on everything, I think about how close I came to just accepting it, to believing I really was the problem, to letting myself disappear quietly, the way she wanted me to. The lesson I carry with me now is simple. When someone tries to erase you, don't scream and don't disappear. Document. Stay calm. Gather the truth. Because the people who try to remove you from the picture are usually counting on you staying silent and unsure of yourself. I wasn't the difficult daughter Karen described to my father for 4 years. I was a grieving girl who lost her mother, who watched her father remarry, and who tried so hard to make room for a new family, while someone else was working just as hard to make sure there was no room for me at all. Her mistake wasn't cruelty. Cruel people get away with cruelty all the time when no one is watching. Her mistake was thinking that no one was watching. Her mistake was believing that a quiet girl in the corner of the family photo wasn't paying attention. I was. And that is why, in the end, trying to erase me was the biggest mistake she ever made. So that's the story. A stepmother who spent 4 years quietly trying to erase a teenage girl from her own family, from the photos, from the holidays, from the will, even from a trust fund her own mother left behind. And in the end, that quiet erasing came completely undone, because the truth was documented, and the truth doesn't disappear just because someone wants it to. If there's one thing I want you to take from this video, it's this: your presence in your own story matters. Even when someone is trying to convince you it doesn't. Stay patient, stay calm, hold on to the truth, and eventually, the truth finds its way back to the light. If this story moved you, hit that like button, and let me know in the comments. Have you ever experienced something like this in your own family? I read every single comment. And if you want more real, emotional family stories like this one, make sure you subscribe for more videos like this, because there are so many more powerful stories coming your way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.